Hello and welcome to our presentation and training for REB members on the Provincial Research Ethics Platform. We have a lot of material to cover in this presentation, so let's get started. Here are the key topics we will be covering today: the basics of the RISE Prep platform, how to review an application, some essential tips and resources, and who to contact for questions. We will be moving through a lot of information. We will note key triggers and action points. It may be helpful to watch the video more than once or to keep it open and pause as you review your first application in the system. First, an overview of Research Ethics BC and Harmonized Review. Research Ethics BC started out as a project by the major research institutions aiming to find a harmonized approach to research ethics review. The intent was to remove the duplication of effort by researchers, students, and faculty, as well as duplication in paperwork and filing. Since 2016, when we launched the models that are in use today, our connections to the research ethics boards in the province have grown to 24 network partners and counting. Harmonized review, as we define it, is for multi-jurisdictional studies, where the jurisdictions are part of the Research Ethics BC network. For example, a research project between Northern Health Authority, the University of Northern British Columbia, and Interior Health Authority. Jurisdiction considerations can include study team member affiliations, recruiting participants, using facilities, using charts or patient data, and recruiting staff. If you ever have questions about harmonized review, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at Research Ethics BC, either in your role as a reviewer or a researcher. We are happy to answer any questions. When Research Ethics BC was considering how to create a joint model for review, the aim was to find a collaborative approach to review. This is the model that we landed on. The research team only submits one application. That is the real advantage. And then the board of record is going to take the main responsibility for the review process and do the heavy lifting. They do the main review, but they consult with the other boards to make sure the local aspects are involved. The benefit is that the researcher will receive one unified request for changes and then one certificate of approval once all the provisos have been met. This is all delivered through the electronic platform. The above minimal risk model, which involves a full board meeting, is almost identical to the last model. Most of the steps are the same, but there is one more square to better illustrate how the provisos and the full board review are coordinated between institutions. However, the output, a single harmonized review, is the same as the minimal risk model. The steps as a reviewer in terms of accessing and considering a minimal or above minimal risk application are almost identical, and that is what we will focus on today. Each institution will run their meetings, assign reviewers, etc. slightly differently. But where to look for studies and the applications themselves remain the same. The board of record is determined by the factors we see here. It's the allocation and distribution of these four elements that establishes one REB as best positioned to lead the review process. For example, the board who will recruit the majority of the participants, or who makes up the majority of the research team, or who has the membership expertise. The board of record determination is built into the platform through an algorithm. Being the board of record versus a participating REB on a study can influence how you review. We will come back to this after going over the mechanics of reviewing an application in the system. Basic functionalities and system navigation. All harmonized reviews take place on the Provincial Research Ethics Platform, or PREP. PREP is hosted by the UBC research information system called RISE. We tend to refer to RISE and PREP synonymously. Because PREP is hosted on a UBC platform, there's a fair amount of reference to UBC-only policies and procedures. You can access RISE or PREP by going to rise.ubc.ca, which will be linked in the description of this video. An important note about this page is also a link to the sandbox, where you can get a feel for how the system and application is laid out. There are many account types to play with, including an REB member. Let's dive into the system. To access RISE or PREP, you'll need an account. If you have ever used RISE before, please use that login. You will not be able to set up a separate identity just because you have multiple affiliations. You can just add or change the affiliations within that RISE login. If you have never had an account in RISE, Just follow the instructions listed on this page about creating an account. Please note that this is a 3-step process. You will need an account in the system in order to review studies and to be a part of your REB and prep. If you don't know whether you have an account or not, REBC can help connect you to the RISE support team to confirm. Now that we know how to access prep, let's cover how to navigate the system and how to make sure you are in the reviewer role. Once you've logged into RISE Prep, you will immediately be taken to the dashboard. Your dashboard in Prep is your personalized portal to submit studies as a PI or to review studies as a reviewer. It is the launching pad for everything in the system. Click the dashboard to come back to this home screen. In order to review applications, you'll need to be using your committee member role. Your dashboard displays all of your roles in the system. REB reviewers tend to have a PI and staff role, as well as a committee member role. If you're the REB chair or co-chair, this role will also be listed. The roles are color-coded, with committee member having a teal banner on the left. If you have multiple roles in the system, you will need to make sure that you are in the committee member role when you are ready to review. To select the role you want, click on it. Each role is a different color. The reviewer banner is blue. One mnemonic device is, when you are ready to review, look for the blue. A final note on roles. After this session, please check in with your RISE profile to make sure that it is up to date. From the dashboard, click on your name in the upper right-hand corner. From here, you can update your profile and ensure that it includes your current email and your current affiliations. If you have multiple affiliations, for example, make sure that both emails are listed and both institutions are listed in Section 1. If you ever have any questions about your profile or accessing the system, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at Research Ethics BC. Now that we know the foundations of harmonized review and the fundamentals of navigating the system, let's get into the weeds of reviewing an application. We will start with how to review a new study, or one that hasn't been reviewed before. We call these initial applications or initial reviews. First, how do we know when there's something new to review? The RISE Prep platform will send out an automatic notification indicating that there is a new study awaiting your review. Here is an example of the automatically generated email notification, indicating you have been selected as a reviewer. If you have an email filter set up to remove or delete automatic notifications from RISE Prep, it may need to be revised. Be sure to adjust it so that emails containing the language "You have been selected as a reviewer for the above" will come into your inbox. Now sign in to RISE Prep. It may be helpful to bookmark this page. You can also get here by following the link in the auto-generated email. Once you're signed in and in your dashboard, click into the committee member role or confirm that you're already in the committee member role. You can only access the studies assigned to you as an REB committee member if you're in the system as a committee member. Look for the application that has been assigned to you for review. You'll notice that there are 4 boxes here: My Assigned Full Review, My Assigned Expedited Review, All Full Review, All Expedited Review. Expedited reviews refer to what we generally call delegated review or minimal risk review. Expedited is for minimal risk research. Full review refers to what we generally call full board review or above minimal risk review. Full review is for above minimal risk research. For ease, use My Assigned to check for studies that have been assigned to you for review. The All Full boxes will show studies that have been assigned to you for review but have since moved into other states, i.e. they are no longer with the REB for review, but out with the research team with provisos pending or back with the REB for screening. These boxes will not show all the studies that haven't been assigned to the REB for review. For example, REB members won't be able to see studies they have submitted being reviewed by another REB member. For the most part, applications will be assigned for expedited review, so you can check here first. The study will show up as a line displaying a high-level summary of information about the study. In our example here, we can see that there are 5 studies in line for review. The high-level summary contains quite a bit of information. In practice, we refer to these things slightly differently than how they are listed in the system. For example, ID number is REB number. But in this snapshot, we have the REB number, the title, the PI, and its stage in the process. For example, pre-submission, assigned for harmonized review, assigned for review. To select a study, click on the hyperlink title. This is the study homepage. On the right is another summary of the application, with a little more detail than we had in the snapshot. Here we can see if it's behavioral or clinical, who the board of record is, and who the additional REBs are. Below is the Study Correspondence tab containing all of the communication about the application. On the left are the links to the application. Application Full, which will take you to the full application. There's also Application Review Print, which will bring up a PDF of the application if you prefer to review it that way or to print it out. For our purposes, we will click on Application Full. Here, we will move through the application and review it and the supporting documents, and then we will return to the study homepage to post comments. You may notice that the list of sections on the left-hand side is variable. That's because there are short forms for specific types of research, like survey-only research or exclusively secondary use of data. The application is a smart form and driven by logic, therefore only the elements that are required for the study are included. When you are ready to comment, navigate back to the study homepage by clicking Exit in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. There is really only one action to select from here: MJ Reviewer Comments. MJ Reviewer stands for Multi-Jurisdictional Reviewer, which is your role in reviewing this application as part of the Harmonized Research Ethics review process, and from the perspective of a non-UBC REB. The Action button is representative of a hugging circle icon, reinforcing that this is a collaborative or harmonized review action. Add your comments to the pop-up window. To add a document, such as supporting material, edits made and track changes to the pre-review, or edits made to the Board of Records provisos, click Add. Click Choose File and upload the document, and click OK. Click OK again. What you write here will appear on the Correspondence tab. It will not be visible to research teams. The Correspondence tab limits visibility based on role. Only those on the review side will be able to see what has been posted. The provisos will be collated with the other REBs and shared with the research team via the Provisos tab. If you forget a point or need to correct something, make a new comment using the same steps. Posts cannot be edited or deleted. Once you've commented, you can see your comment in the Correspondence tab. The REBA will also see this and pick it up. If you navigate back out to the dashboard, you may notice that the study still appears under the My Assign Expedited Review tab. However, this time, your name will appear in the Commented By box. You can use this to triple check everything went smoothly. From here, the Research Ethics Administrator role will send the application back to the research team. There is nothing else needed until the study comes back from the research team and you receive another automatic notification indicating there is something awaiting your review. This is how to review an initial application as an REB member. To recap, the steps are: check for the automatic notification, log into the system, go to My Full or My Expedited Review, select the application for review, post your comments, and confirm the comments have been posted. We will now discuss how to review post-approval activities, or PAAs. There are a few types of post-approval activities, for example, amendments, annual renewals, or requests for acknowledgement. Generally, amendments are the most frequent post-approval activities assigned for review, so we will use them as our demonstration. Reviewing amendments are slightly different than initial applications. Because they are amendments to the initial application, they are a separate application that proposes a change or a new version of the previous application. But while those elements are new to the study, the review process is much the same. As with initial applications, the RISE Prep platform will send out an automatic notification indicating that there is an amendment awaiting your review. Again, if you have an email filter set up to move or delete automatic notifications from RISE or Prep, it may need to be adjusted. As before, sign into RISE Prep to access the application. You can also follow the link in the automated email. The PAA will appear under Full or Expedited Review, with a high-level summary of information about it. The high-level summary will tell you the application type, in this case, Amendments to Study. To open the PAA, click on the name. We are now within the amendment submission, which is nestled within the overarching application in RISE or Prep. We will explain the link and how to navigate between the two later. On the right of this page, we can see that this is an amendment for a behavioral study, its REB number, title, and that it originally received expedited or delegated REB review, and a lot more. On the left are the links to the application, same as before, but also links to the amendment request, which we call the PAA cover sheet. The cover sheet is a summary of the changes the research team would like to make and justifications for the changes. The link to the application full, is to the latest version of the application with all the changes incorporated. However, the changes aren't approved until the amendment is approved. You will need to review the cover sheet, the summary of the request for changes, as well as the proposed changes to the application itself. Where to start is reviewer preference, but our recommendation is to start by clicking PAA Cover Sheet Full. Review the PAA cover sheet by scrolling all the way through, reviewing the summary of changes and justifications for changes from the research team. Then, to see how the changes have been reflected in the application, at the end of Section 2, Amendments to Study, click on the blue View Differences button to review the changes made to the application. If preferred, you can always click Exit out of the PAA and click Application Full from the PAA homepage. This will show you the entire application with all the changes incorporated. Application Full, however, will not necessarily show you the track change version of the application. You will need to use the Compare feature, denoted by the tiny scales in the upper left-hand corner, and select the version of the application that you'd like to compare against. You can go back to the latest approved version or even just see the changes since the last date change. Click on the 3 lines to toggle the Compare visibility. This is a powerful new feature, but a little complicated, so we tend to recommend the View Differences route. Within the View Differences option, you can scroll through to move through the revised pages of the application. Alternatively, the left-hand bar will show you which sections of the application have been changed, denoted by a pencil next to the section heading. For sections that have been revised, the new text will appear in a green highlight. Underneath will be a blue bubble block showing what the old text or value was. In this example, the old value was test, and the new value is no longer have a graduate student. Revisions to a table will appear slightly differently. The difference will be noted in the blue bubble block. In this example, we can see that the edit to the table was to remove Kim Lee from the study team. Be sure to review all changes as well as any changes to supporting documents. Once you are ready to comment, exit the View Differences window and return to the PAA homepage. As before, click MJ Reviewer Comments to post your comment, and add any documentation you need, and click OK. Once you've commented, scroll so you can see your comment in the Correspondence tab. The REBA will also see this and pick the application back up. If you navigate back out to the dashboard, you may notice that the study still appears under My Assigned Expedited Review. However, this time your name will appear in the Commented By box. If your name is here, then your job is done. There is nothing else needed until the study comes back from the research team and the REBA reach back out to help review the proviso response. Essential tips for system navigation. To find a specific application, use the Studies tab to search for it. You will need to break down the search by Initial Application (REB) or Post-Approval (PAA). If you can't find an application or know it's been completed or terminated, then you can use REB inactive. You can search by study number, PI, first or last name, study title, keywords, etc. Just be sure to change the parameters in the search bar. Here's a quick glance of all the standard sections of an ethics application. The section headings are directly named. Information about the study team is in Section 1, the full summary of the study procedures are in Section 5, and all information about data storage and confidentiality is in Section 8. Section 9 contains all of the study documents. However, as noted earlier, because the application is SmartForm and logic-driven, this application structure can change. For example, exclusively survey research or secondary use of data or biospecimens has a slightly different application structure. Page 10 is only applicable for industry-sponsored trials, such as clinical trials. Those applications aren't harmonized yet, but the application structure is carried forward from UBC-only submissions. Page 11 is for operational approvals for the health authorities. These last two pages, 10 and 11, are not for research ethics review, but part of the application to keep connected information all in one place. We've included them here for context. Here is a list of the common supporting documents for research ethics applications, and the sections of the application that they are uploaded to. Now, we'll circle back to the idea of the Board of Record versus non-Board of Record review. The Board of Record will always do the initial review. If you are reviewing as the Board of Record, you may have a pre-review to work from or be building a review from scratch depending on your REB or REB office's practices. You will need to review the full application. If you are reviewing as another REB listed on the application and the application has already been reviewed by the Board of Record, use the Board of Records review as a jumping off point for your review. This will help reduce duplication in work. For example, you don't both need to ask for the consent form to be updated to match what's been written in Section 6. Also, while you can review the whole application, in general, the role of the non-Board of Record REB is to focus on site-specific concerns, knowing that the Board of Record has done a thorough review of the application. Site-specific concerns include assessing if the recruitment strategy is reasonable or applicable to your institution, or assessing the role your institution plays in the data management plan. You will be able to access the Board of Records review, as well as any pre-review from your office, as applicable, through the Correspondence tab. This slide is an example of the comments from UBC Okanagan as the Board of Record, with Northern Health Authority assigned for harmonized review. As a reviewer, you would open the comments from the Board of Record, then open the application and supporting documents, reviewing everything before commenting. Thank you for watching this video and sticking to the end. We've covered a lot and hope that this will be helpful in getting you started with reviewing on PREP. If you haven't already, check out the newly redesigned RABC website. We have resources for reviewers and more coming all the time. Let's keep in touch. Here is Research Ethics BC contact information. Thank you for watching.